So the case of the big lavender saga continues.
Shall we walk over to them?
Yeah, let's go. So these guys are lavender grossolis. Now the difference between the lavender grossolis and the lavender angustifolia, which is the angustifolia is the ones that we planted down the garden yesterday, and I've also got another 27 seedlings to plant down there. So angustifolia has got a smaller, the least amount of camphor in it. So that means it's the least amount the least that's going to affect irritations to the skin and irritations to the gut. So you can actually drink it, you can eat it, and I love it in my skincare. Lavender Grosso. So they've got a higher amount of camphor in it, but because of the camphor in it, it's really good for an insect repellent. So, and also, so that's what I put into my insect repellent herbal infusion. So, I don't want to ditch them. We don't need a lot of them though, so we don't need like a massive amount of them. But do we, Greg? But do we?
So that's the conundrum. We're going to we're getting rid of our seedling bed. We're now doing that down in the skincare herb garden down the bottom here. So we've got to pull these out. We're trying to figure out where we're going to put them.
So there's an option of putting them down along here, even around that bed there. Like we can like fill up these two beds with them because we don't need.
Probably a good position because this will hide the generator. Well, our solar shed is it's pretty groovy but a little bit messy. So if we plant one here, it'll sort of hide the shed a bit. And eventually this is starting to look a bit shabby past its use by date almost, this native callistemon, I think it is.
Because we've got to get rid of that stump. And got to prune. I want to take off some of these branches up here.
This apple, yep.
And plant them along here. We want to get rid of this nectarine because the birds just get it. It was burnt with the fires. It just doesn't, it's not very nice, is it?
No.
It's not very nice. But I do want to have a walkway through here to get to the tank.
Yeah, to get to the tank, got to do a bit of tidying up in here to get to the tank.
So which means that the lavenders can really only come to here. Are they too snaky for up here?
That was our original thinking.
That they're too snaky for up here. Is that green manure bed at the very end of this of the winter green manure? Can that get crimped now?
Oh,
or not ready?
No, it's not ready. You want them to get more mature, just till it's, what do they call it, milk state. Just the seeds are up just before they start forming in flower stage. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much about it.
Conundrum. What about, and if we put them at the end of the hakeas?
The hazelnuts.
The hazelnuts, sorry. They could be too snaky in summer. Snakes love lavender.
Yes.
Just because they're bushy and they're nice to hide in. And there is a red belly that hangs around here. So I think that's answered our question of snakes. At least we can see them. Like we can see them underneath the trees. We can see the snakes. And if you're walking through here to go to get the water from the tank, and there's a snake hanging out there with the trees, you can see the snake hanging out there. Where if it's full of lavender, you can't see him.
But the snakes will always run away from you, especially red bellies.
Yeah, but not if you stand on him. That's what I mean. Like, there's a pathway. What if he's like laying there? He's only got his tail hanging out and you don't see him. And you step on him. He's only got his tail hanging out and you don't see him. And you step on him. I've got another idea. What about in between the trees along here?
I did think about that. It might be too damp.
On this side, come with me.
Yeah. I think
On this side, yeah, because we've got the water coming out of the lab.
It's a great water there. I think it might be too damp.
Because they don't like wet feet. But what about along here?
Yeah, we can, between those trees there,
Yeah.
because we don't want to cover up the looking down into the herb garden, but also it'd be nice to cover up the view of the woofers caravan a bit. So that's a possibility.
Let's just go for a stroll over here. They don't need a lot of food. Like, they don't need to be, and because they are so big, there is a possibility that they won't survive the transplant.
Yep.
As well. So we're going to cut them back hard. The weeds coming up through them, the grass coming up through them.
Yep.
So would you want to put cardboard down and do a little bit of sheet mulching around them? And a bit of, actually, let's do that. Let's dig them in, and then I'll come through and put cardboard on them, and then we'll put wood chip on them, and that will suppress the weeds.
Yep.
Even a bit of weed mat. And that will suppress the weeds for this spring anyway. And then they'll shade the weeds. Good morning down at the herb garden again this morning, being a Sunday, my garden day. So I'm planting out all of these baby lavenders. So these are Lavender angustifolia, and Lavender angustifolia has got the least amount of camphor in it, so therefore it's got the least amount of irritant in it. When people say that they're allergic to lavender, it's quite often that it's the camphor that they're actually getting that allergic reaction from. So if you do have a reaction to lavender, try Lavender angustifolia essential oil. I'm not saying that you won't have a reaction, but it just has got the least amount of camphor in it, and it's fantastic for tea, so it's good for the gut, and it's also good for the skin, help you sleep. That's the lavender you want. Lavender Grosso has got the most camphor in it, so that's really good for things like insect bites and also insect repellent. So let's get this show on the road and get these guys planted. So our Lavender angustifolia into our regenerative grown bed. So this has had last summer's green manure in it. So this had a lot of legumes in it. So as you can see, things like radishes, daikon radishes. Now look at that, beautiful. Not that we're going to eat them. What we want to do, what?
Chili radish.
Oh, radish, there you go. Chilish radish. And loads of peas in here that are still going to seed. They'll come back up. They'll keep on regenerating the soil. We just keep pulling them out, laying them on top. Perfect for our lavender. Chili's going to help, of course. Pop him in there. I dug them out from up the top yesterday, the Lavender angustifolia. So, and they've been soaking in water, so they've got loads of water, but I am going to snip them off the top because those roots have been disturbed, and what happens when you disturb root, they're going to start, there's not enough root mass to come up and feed all of this top growth. I'm going to chop it off about there to give the plant time to put energy back into the roots, so they've got the best chance of survival. Pelletized fish emulsion and micro Greg knows more about it than me. Microbes put back into the soil as well, because this soil, don't forget, was burnt very badly only 3 years ago. And so when we plant new seedlings, we want to give them the best start. So I do put some fertiliser on top. We haven't been using fertiliser for 20 years. And that's because we've used regenerative farming all that time, but our soil was depleted so bad after the fires. That's, you know, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, and there's some amazing technology out there now in fertilizers, but the whole point of regenerative farming is that you don't need to use fertilizers, and we won't ever fertilize these guys again. It's just because I'm planting them in, so we'll give them all a bit of a hit as we're replanting after the fires, all of our herbs, but then we won't be hitting them up ever again, so which is really good. Rightio, watering time now. So before the 2020 fires, we had all down here on our herb garden, it was all fully irrigated, so that was fantastic. I just had to come down, turn on one tap, and everything got watered. Since then, we haven't replaced the irrigation because we're still building the beds. So you've got to build the beds first, then do the irrigation. So we've gone back to watering by hand, which is annoying but necessary.
Carnage from yesterday. So weeds in the back of this thing, the side by side, over to the chickens. They'll love this. Calendula, they love it. Put the gloves on, there can be the occasional spiky thing in amongst this lot. Some thistle or a young blackberry. So the gloves do help. So this is something we could do with the wheelbarrow, but we've actually got 3 wheelbarrows at the moment. We're occasionally using one down in the skincare herb garden, and we just had a blowout. I pumped it up too hard and it went off with an almighty bang. We blew out the other one, and the third one needs a new tray. So at the moment we're down to 1 wheelbarrow. So instead of taking the wheelbarrow away from Kate, I'm going to use a side-by-side to take this over to the chickens. As I say, it's normally a job for the wheelbarrow, this close to the chickens, but we're using the side-by-side. Job for this week sometime, fixing the wheelbarrows.
This is still the same day, many jobs on a farm, always. But since the fires and a lot of our infrastructure got burnt, we seem to be doing a lot of this sort of thing, makeshift little pens for the animals. So this was the shearing pen, and now we're letting the pony and the pony's fathers into this area. We want them to eat all that grass that's in there, and the 4 sheep too, because they've been wintering over in the far paddock. So they're coming into this paddock now, and Greg has to take it down again, and I'm sure before too long he's going to have to put it back up again for shearing again. Okay, so I'm in my top garden now, and today is going to be all about strawberries, blueberries, and pruning kiwi fruit. So with the strawberries, they're in winter mode at the moment. That there's a lot of dead leaves, and that's fine. I'm going to leave them there. I'm going to leave them there to feed the soil, to keep the soil moist, and also to feed the worms that are in there. Now, strawberries love a good acid base fertilizer, so I'm going to use a high acid base compost, and I'm going to put it right up to here. There's only going to be a few of their leaves sticking out, and what this is going to do, it's going to help any of these exposed roots from the new runners. It's going to have soil over the top of them, and they're going to come through and they're going to be delicious in spring. So let's get it done. Just pulling them back off the wire. This is to keep the guinea pigs off the beds, because they will jump up in these, because strawberries are delicious, of course, aren't they? So we use guinea pigs in our veggie garden, and this is our veggie garden and our berry orchard, to keep the grass down. Plus they fertilise as they go, but the downside is that they will eat your veggies, so a bit of snake wire around and it keeps them out. You know, in winter, sometimes, well, where we live anyway, where we get snow, we're not that far away from the snow line, and so it can be quite dry here in winter, and that's something that I really had to get used to, actually watering in winter. And it can be, if you don't water in winter in our climate, in our region, you're going to set yourself up for a very dry spring. So I do a lot of watering in winter, and then I put compost or mulch over the top to keep that in. I also winter feed as well. And don't forget, if you're using a pelletized fertilizer like Blood and Bone or pelletized seaweed or fish emulsion, it's got to touch the soil. You don't put it on top of the mulch, you put it on the soil first, and you've got to water it well to activate it, then you put your mulch over the top. Alrighty, now don't forget, I know I keep on saying that with regenerative farming, you don't need many inputs, and we don't do a lot of inputs, but our farm has gone through 2 very heavy fires in 2020, and we're still recovering. The soil's still recovering from that, so we're giving the plants a little bit of boost. These guys went through the fire, these guys were burnt. So, and I've got them back to this stage, so which is just absolutely amazing. I didn't think they would come back. So I will give this a really good water. I'm going to put the sprinkler on, and I'm also going to put a little bit of fish emulsion, pelletized fish emulsion, certified organic that we get locally, and then I'm going to put the sprinkler on and go and have lunch. Now you've got to remember too that when you're using a pelletized fertilizer, all you're doing is feeding the plants. When you use mulch, when you use compost, when you use regenerative farming with green manures, you're feeding the soil, which feeds the organic matter, then feeds the worms that feeds the plants. So there's 2 schools of thought there. By continuously just feeding the plants, you're going to deplete your soil. And then your plants are going to be absolutely reliant on that fertilizer that you have to put on, you have to keep buying, you have to keep putting it on. So, and remember, I'm only doing it now because of the fires and because these guys have been through a lot. So I am actually doing 2 things today. I'm feeding the plant. I'm also going to be putting the compost on to feed the soil, to feed the worms. And if you must use a pelletized fertilizer, make sure it's certified organic. You don't want any nasties. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to let that have a really good soak over lunch, and I'll come back and put some compost on it.
You can't do without them. Be happier up here, a little bit more of a warm paddock, a little bit more feed in them. For this will keep them going through here for the rest of the winter. Lunchtime for me also. You know how we clip the chicken's wings? This is in our house yard. This is our back of our straw bale house. And this is out the back. We've got our mop, but yeah, we've got our kitchen garden here. And this is why we clip chickens' wings. They're all over here, except for where's Friend? Yeah, all 4 of them are over here. But when their wings aren't clipped, easy for them to get up on the fence and inside the yard, or even worse, in our kitchen herb garden. As I say, that's why we clip their wings, keep them down on the ground a bit. Hopefully it's successful. If you're not behaving yourself, you're going to have to stay in your cage, in jail. It's a pretty decent jail, it's a pretty decent sized jail, but you'll have to stay in jail. And this is, I'm not sure you can see friend through there. Hello friend, where are you? Hello? Hello? She's on the other side of the fence. She's a bit of a windy day today. Gate's been closed, so a little bit of stress going on. This girl can't get out. These boy and girls can't get in. And we've got friend running around up the top there. Prop the gate. There we go, everyone. Friend's coming down. She thinks she's going to miss out on something. Nothing there, friend. Got the piggies. Everyone's out. Got the piggies in here. Hello. You're pretending no one can see you, aren't you? The piggies are out having a bit of a free range. Got a couple up in the distance here. I'll see they'll do a runner. When I come down, you've got your... Oh, they've been very cosy. They're taking up house under my little wood shed there. Nothing for you.
Remember when we had that conversation about Greg always nicks my tools? I cannot find my spade, my good spade. I got one spade, can't find it. Gotta go find it now. Where is it? That's been watering nicely over lunch. So these are the blueberries. Poor things. I think that's the problem. I'm going to dig them up. And I brought a few others too. I was looking for my shovel.
Sorry?
I was looking for my shovel. Did you walk up that all the way up with you?
Oh yeah, well, it's coming up anyway.
That's what the side-by-side's for, to work smarter, not harder. You silly sausage, you're going to get yourself all exhausted.
Now, because we're down to one wheelbarrow, I took the wheelbarrow up. I had to take the side-by-side down there. When I was down there, I brought the wheelbarrow up here. Now I'm going to take the tractor down there to fill the side-by-side up. That's where the tractor lives anyway, so that's what's happening now. Take this tractor down. Caught me tractor, it's Kay calls it the scooter. Kay calls it me little scooter. Well, Kay and Annette call it the scooter. Whoop. Great little machine, this machine. It's like a mechanical wheelbarrow. Come down, it's awesome tool to have on our place. Just gotta watch it. Have to be a little bit careful going downhill. Bends the knees. Reds. So they can have a habit if you're not careful. With these things, they can have a these machines, a little Hoisun. It's actually, I know it's a Chinese loader. I think they do build Kangas, Australian made. I'm not sure how. Well, they probably just put them together in Australia, but yeah, sometimes you got to. Budget is a limited thing. Yeah, so I know it's Chinese. Try and get away from Chinese, though. In some cases, it's a must when it comes with and reason down the budget. But anyhow, so I have got this is a load of Fogo compost. Fogo's food organic, garden organic. But there's some compost. It's a certified input for meets Australian standards. What is it? 4544, I think it is. Yeah. But anyhow, it's a allowable input for organic gardening. Yeah. It's allowable. Whoa. A little bit too much on board, that's what happens. It can buck you off, so I've got a little bit too much on, so essentially it can tip you up. Try and get the camera in a better spot. So that might be a bit, yeah. Tip a little bit out of there. See how we go with that. But yeah, so it's still a little bit heavy, but yeah, you have too much, can buck you off. This is the first time I've actually loaded any onto our side by side, so whoop. Just touch your side by side then. So, just taking it very gentle. There's only plastic. There we go. Loading up on the side by side. Never done this before on this machine, on the side by side. So just being very. Whoop. So we're going to take this up to the our veggie garden up the top, personal garden. Yeah, but this stuff, as I say, the local council makes it. It's a great use of resource. Anything that's organic, they put it aside, and they've got a industrial compost, a hot industrial compost. So they put it through the compost machine, the compost system up there, aerate it, turn it. I think they heat it up and inoculate it to start it, but aerate it and turn it, and it ends up a beautiful product in the end. It does have some plastics, especially the biggest one is the bloody stickers. Fruit stickers, which is they're a pain. Fruit stickers, like they're plastic, a bit of organic fruit, totally compostable, totally degradable, biodegradable. Go and put a bloody bit of plastic on it. What is that all about? But anyhow, but this ends up a good product in. As I say, it does have some plastics in it, but it's hard to get away from plastics, you know. Yeah, they're everywhere. And nanoplastic is a next big thing that we're going to have to be worrying about. Yeah, nanoplastic is the obviously smaller than microplastics. Nanoplastics are the ones that got potential to get inside our bodies, inside our cells. This is where we get a build-up of material in here after a while. Haven't cleaned it out for a little bit. Just puts a bit of pressure on the joints, so I'll give them a bit of a clean out every now and then. I haven't cleaned it out for a little bit. Clean out every now and then, so it doesn't put pressure on the knuckles of the machine. I haven't cleaned it out for a little bit though. There we go. Other side. See, it builds up a bit there. And puts pressure on the joint. If you have something that's not very compressible in there, can create a bit of, let's say, pressure on the joint, a bit more wear and tear. There we go, I'm happy with that. Oh, actually, it's going to be in the way. Why don't I move it out? Oh, using cheap fuel. Okay, so I've got a bit of load on board. Give that a little bit of work at this. Not sure. I should know, but I think this machine, she's about, I think it's got a capacity. I think it's got a capacity of around 6. A towing capacity. Oh, a load. I think the tray capacity is about 250 and a towing capacity of about 650 kilos. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Just a bit wary about doing a mono. Got a bit of a load on board, so I'm going uphill, so see how we go. Might even put in 4. Bins that can open. Happy with that. A little bit of a load on board. Well, that bit of a load on board, a couple of 100 kilos, I thought it might try and pop a wheelie. We've been all good on that trip up. All right.
Right, so worms. Full of worms, look at that. Big. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, jeepers creepers, that's good. Very nice. I might go get my pot. Gotta come back up for a centre. Oh well. This is the pot that actually worked. Doesn't matter, it's not central. Greg will think it's not good, but anyway. I think I can't make it very that low because I'm going to fill it up that much more. Oh yeah. I'm going to precariously go get the one that works. One that might work with me. Don't know. Get that ready. Oh, soil is incredible. This is the one that's smashed a little bit. It's going to be interesting getting it if it will stay together. Oh, no, that worked. That worked. Awesome.
Here we go, Kay's into it. She's got a manky leg. She had the I shouldn't say manky. It's good. It's a good leg now. She had a operation, a potential cancerous lump, melanoma.
It wasn't potential. It was a lump.
It was.
It
Yeah,
was
it was cancer.
stage
Yeah.
3.
Chopped out of a leg. So that was 7 weeks ago. So she's into it now. Still got a bit of a limp, though. This is probably a first. She's been doing work, but this is a first, probably the biggest workout since the operation 7
Oh, well,
weeks or so ago.
yesterday was probably the biggest.
The biggest, yeah, yesterday, but anyhow. So we'll see how she goes.
Yeah, I need my spade.
Need your spade.
Have you seen him here? Look what I've done.
I haven't seen him here. What have you done?
I smashed the bottoms out of these.
Oh, yes. And
Because I found out the reason why we haven't been able to grow blueberries is because they need acid. And so do strawberries. They both need an acidic,
yep.
An acidic soil. So I decided, because I don't want to turn any other bed into an acidic bed.
Which
so
makes sense, yes.
Yeah, so I thought I'd companion plant them, and because they both like the same thing. And the blueberries can be in here because the strawberries, if I just plant the blueberries in here on their own, they'll get smothered. They'll get absolutely choked with the strawberries.
Strawberries, yep.
So I keep them in the pots, but I've dug them down. I've dug the pots down. I've smashed the bottom out so the roots can go down deep.
Yep.
And upcycling these old pots too.
Upcycling these old pots, yeah, because as you were saying, you don't want, because the plants in here like acidic soil.
Yep.
Yeah, they like acidic soil, so that's what Kay's doing. She doesn't want to turn any of the other beds into acidic soil, so...
Yeah, so companion planting the two together, we can keep adding acid to this bed and they'll all grow together really, really well. The blueberries are going to be up out of the reach of the strawberries, and I'm going to literally fill it up to like the top of the tin. I'm going to totally bury the the strawberries. I know they're not quite like level or in the right.
We'll see. How about we check it out? Okay. No, we're not going to give her any exams on that one.
I know. I thought when I was doing it, I thought, oh, Greg's gonna hate this. It's so not even.
Dislike it.
Oh, dislike.
Yes. Hate odd. Not a big. Yes, yeah. But yeah, winter work in the garden. So it's looking fairly bare, but that's what happens in winter. We haven't got too many winter things in yet. We've been busy working, spending too much time working in the office, not enough time out in the garden. So we're really trying to make a transition, big effort in the transition from getting less time in the office to more time out here. This is where, especially Kay, this is Kay's happy place. This is Kay's happy place.
Is there gate down the bottom closed so they can't get out?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Hello, Sparkles. In here we give you a bit of love, hey? Give you a bit of love this afternoon. I'm going to show you one of these things in action. So, essentially got to put him in the drill first, in the cordless. Essentially we put him in.
Gosh, it's a bit warm, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Take him down to where he's going to go, and he's almost flat, so he needs another battery. And yeah, got the lavender. Kay uses it in our insect repellent. But we're going to move some of those lavender, probably 3 or 4. Going to put some down here. Just a fairly good spot for it down here. Get them out of the front of the lab, away of the front of the lab. But going to put about 3 along here, and then another 3 interdispersed between the trees. So this is our woofers caravan down the bottom here. Woofers stands for Willing Workers on Organic Farms, and not dogs. But yeah, so you talk about woofers, some people think you're talking about a dog, but no, it stands for an acronym: Willing Workers on Organic Farms. Here it is anyway. So come and check me out, marking these holes out for the lavender, and look at getting some planted also.
So, blueberries are frost tolerant. So, by keeping them in this pot, in this bed, beside these thornless blackberries, it's going to protect them a little bit from the frost. These will get to about 1 metre high, and they love a good pH of about 4 to 5. Oh, they're gorgeous. I'm determined to grow them. So, planting these blueberries here for two reasons. One is that they're frost tolerant, but they're not frost hardy. So having the blackberries there going to help them a little bit, and there's a bit of shade over there too. So these two are new ones that I've bought, and I've also got some old ones here that I haven't been able to grow very well. They like a good pH of about 4 to 5, which is quite high. Alright.
Water tank. Sometimes low-tech solutions are the best way to go. Water tank's beside the driveway. Come along in the car, wind the window down. How much water have I got? Oh, water, water. Oh, full, empty. Full, empty. We're up to that run there. We're just over half empty. Just under half full. Living in the country. I wonder how much water I've got. Driving in my car. Wind the window down. Whoop. Full, empty. Full, empty. Just over a third full. What do you reckon? One here, one over there. I think that'll work. I think possibly positioned a little bit better though. One of our not so helpful helpers. This is Friend. Friend, meet the camera. You're not really helping, darling. Quite welcome to pick on that. No. Not really helping there. It's actually fairly large. Friend, is that a good spot? Best spot for you to be in, Friend. Bit of a trim up, a bit less stress on the plant, get a bit less nutrients, a little bit less nutrients needed to keep this thing going. Transplant stock. Sometimes low-tech solutions are the best. There we are, in about there. One rung from the top. Pesky chickens. I'm gonna check this out. Got the chopping block there. Not the most intelligent place to be when you're being annoying, you lot. Right beside the chopping block. Come on, back on your side of the fence. Come on, darling. You're gonna make this hard, aren't you? Hey? Oh. Just through there. That's it. That's it. Why couldn't you have done that in the first place? Already stay there, you lot.